Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Jim Tan Beef, and today's stream of consciousness talk is going to be about things that I wish I knew earlier in life. And now today I turned 29 and I've been thinking a lot about my life and about my journey, and today's talk is just going to be about things that I wish like my dad told me or my grandfather told me, and then something I would really tell my son when he either enters high school or he graduates high school. And I know it's cliche, but it's going to be follow your dreams early. Now, for a long time, I was just living a life that I didn't want to live. And I think through high school, I didn't really realize, I wasn't really thinking about my future. I was more thinking about the present, which is all right. I think when you're in high school, like, you can't really be thinking about the future unless someone tells you to like seriously sit down and like think about what you want to do in life. But if I had to tell my son something, it would definitely be like, hey man, sit down when you're like 13 and think about your passions and then go after those passions. Like, you want to start young. Like, time is on your side when you start at 13, when you start young. And also when you're young, that's when you have the most drive and the most like passion for your life, and like you haven't had the soul sucked out of you by society. And like, thinking back on my life, something that I've always loved has been the gym. And I first found like actual weights when I was in high school and I started playing football. Before that, I would just do like body weight exercises like pull-ups and push-ups. And in mid school, actually before mid school, I was the fat kid in 5th grade. I used to play football before 5th grade, but in 4th grade, I quit playing football and I got really fat. I was like on your standard American diet, eating Cheetos, eating Cheez-Its, just high carb, low protein, high fat foods. And I got fat. And I remember going back to school that year, and man, I heard it from my classmates, and it was the worst feeling in the world. And I told myself that that next summer, I was going to be the best. Like, I was going to come back the biggest and the strongest. And so every day I would just do 100 pull-ups and 100 push-ups during the summer. And I lost all the weight. I came back stronger. Then I was the kid who could do the most pull-ups, the most sit-ups, the most push-ups in the grade. If you remember the presidential fitness test, I was always killing those. Except the mile run, I would just walk that. I even hated running back then. But that's when I fell in love, I guess, with exercise. But when I found out about weights is when I started playing football in high school. And I remember just freshman year going to a bench, and I still remember this, seeing like the seniors throw on a 45 for a warm-up, and I was just putting on 25s on each side. But I still remember at that age telling myself, you'll be there one day, bro. You are going to lift 45s, and you're going to lift more than that. Like, you're going to lift 10 times more than that. And I did. Like, at the end of high school, I was the strongest man. I was the fastest man. I broke the power clean record for our high school. But that just goes to show, like, if you like speak it into existence, you will achieve it. But like, I go back to my weight training journey just to say that like I loved weights. Like, I loved progressing. Like, weights was the first thing in my life where it was all on me. Like, it didn't depend on a team. Like, before that, I would play football and basketball, and you were always so dependent on your team to do well. Whereas with weights, like, the weight doesn't lie, baby. It's between you and the weight. You're either getting it up or you're not. There's no one else you're relying on but yourself and your own hard work. And I just really fell in love with the weight room. And while that was just, we would just lift weights in the summer for football, I only liked lifting weights. Like, to be honest with you guys, I didn't like playing football at all. I was the running back, so I would get hit constantly. And I did like playing defense because I got to hit people instead of getting hit. But I always knew deep down that like the weights was where it's at. The weights is what I loved. And I just think about like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He started lifting weights, I think, when he was like 14, and then he was already jacked by 16. But that's because he concentrated on weights. See, I was only lifting for like 3 months before football, and then after football was over, I would start lifting again. But there was still all that time playing football where I wasn't lifting weights. I wasn't actually going after my passion. I was just in football really honestly, when I think back about it, I was just in football just to make my dad happy. I knew my dad loved football. My dad played college football. And like in America too, if you're like not playing a sport, you're just like a loser. You're an outcast. So if you're not a part of one of those teams, you're just an outcast. So that had something to do with it too. Like that was my friend group. That was my identity. I was a football player. But like in reality, if I had to go back in time, I would just focus on the weight room. And I guess I can't be too like hard on myself, because if I did go seriously into weights, I think maybe I would have gone seriously into bodybuilding, and I could have done a lot of steroids, and I could have been on a totally different path now than the holistic journey I'm on. Because I mean, I'm happy where I'm at now, instead of being like a professional bodybuilder and looking outrageously big and taking all these BS supplements and just being lost in. I feel like the bodybuilding world is so fake. Like a lot of it is like cosmetic too. Like you just look at the women that are in bodybuilding and they all have these big like DSL lips, the dick sucking lips and Botox. And I really think bodybuilding makes you focus a lot on like not just your muscles, but like how you look overall. And that's like not healthy for you long term. But again, this is just a stream of consciousness talk. I'm kind of like thinking through like what I would tell to my son, and maybe my son will watch this one day. But yeah, that was my passion. My passion was always the weights. And my passion also was tanning. And I found this out because my first job was a lifeguard. So my summers would literally consist of me going to lift weights at 5 a.m. in the morning. And then I would go to work all day after that. And I would literally sit in the sun all day. And I would get super, super tan. Like the kids on the football team would always give me shit. They thought I was getting a spray tan. And I loved life at that time. Like there's really never a time except now when I was happier in life. Just going, working out in the morning, and then going to tan all day, and then going back home to sleep, and then restarting the next day. It was like perfect for me. Like during the summers, I wasn't chasing girls, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking weed. Like a lot of my other friends on the football team, they were doing all of that, but I was really, really focused on the weights. Like I was dialed. I was the most dialed in my high school. I was the most dialed on my football team. And when it came to my diet, I was on the chicken, rice, and broccoli just because I was watching the basic bodybuilder content. At that time, it was like Jay Cutler, Kai Green, and Phil Heath that were popular, and that's what they were eating. They're taking a bunch of supplements. They're eating chicken, rice, and broccoli. So I was just following what I was seeing on YouTube. And you guys should be really thankful today that there's so much more information out there about like an actually holistic lifestyle when it comes to health. And you guys should really utilize YouTube to like find out about this, because when I was a kid, man, you really just got basic bodybuilding shit from like Jeff Seed and all the Gymshark guys and Ziz. You just got like the basic bodybuilding content, and there was no one really preaching like a holistic lifestyle. And it wasn't until I got to college until I found out about like Sean Baker and the carnivore diet, and then Paul Saladino, and falling into more of the holistic lifestyle as I got older. But back to chasing your dreams. Like, so at a young age, you can see what I already loved. I loved lifting weights. I loved getting a tan. And I didn't know about beef yet, but you could already see the building blocks of what my life would become. But what I want to go into now is just like how the world throws a wrench into your actual passions and how it gets you off track. And what's crazy is there's people who literally go their whole life without realizing this, and then they just die. Like they die without ever realizing their true life's dream, and without actually even chasing their true life's dream or even realizing it. But I think when you don't even chase your passion, you're already dead. And here's why I say that. When I graduated college, I got a finance job. And the only reason I did that is because in college, you're told, get a finance degree, get a finance job, you'll make a bunch of money. And that couldn't be further from the truth, just because what they don't tell you is you should go to like a top 10 school if you want to make a bunch of money. Like I had this crazy idea in my head that I was going to be an investment banker. And if you guys don't know anything about finance, basically the only people who are going to be investment bankers are the people graduating from Ivy League schools or you have connections. And I had none of that. I went to a small college. I didn't get the best grades. I didn't get bad grades. I graduated with a 3.5, but to be an investment banker, you need to be in an Ivy League school getting a 4.0. And no one told me this. Like, so if you're out there and you think you're going to be an investment banker going to Kansas Southern University, bro, I got news for you. It's not happening. Like, find something else now. If you're not going to Yale, Harvard, then bro, get out of finance and do something you're passionate about. But yeah, so I was sucked into that lie. But I did get a job at a bank. It was like kind of like a rotational program, so I got to see like commercial lending, and it was still a good job. Like the commercial bankers, you know, the best ones, they're making like 300 to 500,000 a year. So don't get me wrong, it's a good job, but it wasn't investment banking. These guys would have to go to like small farmers or like small businesses and run loans for them. And man, I even remember then thinking like, this shit is so boring, like talking about interest rates. And then I would ask the older guys, how do you be successful in this career? And they would just be like, you have to read the Wall Street Journal every morning. You have to read the New York Times. Just stay up on the interest rates. And I was like, oh, that is so, so boring. And I was always still into fitness. Like at this time, I was still working out. But what happened in this job is I was basically like a spreadsheet monkey working for these commercial bankers. So I was trapped inside all day on a spreadsheet. Like I would get into work at 8. I would leave at 6. I'd have like an hour for lunch. And I got fat because I used the excuse of like, work is too hard. Work is too demanding. So like after work too, I'd be so stressed out and everyone would go out and drink. I would join them, of course. So you go out to a bar, you have like one drink leads to 2, 3, 4, 5. Then next thing you know, you're drunk. So you're ordering food and man, I blew up. I got really fat. I got a lot of bad acne and I just got really depressed. And what I started doing is I was like, okay, well, what's going to work, get me shredded? I found the carnivore diet. So I started doing the carnivore diet, and that was great because it was able to like reset my lifestyle, reset my immune system, and I would shred weight quick. Like on the carnivore diet, I would lose like 20 pounds in like 3 months. But the thing is it just wasn't sustainable. And I was also doing 1 meal a day. So I'd eat after my workout in the mornings. I'd go work out at like 5 a.m., come home, I'd eat 12 eggs, and these weren't even pasture-raised eggs. These were like your basic white eggs. So I wasn't getting any nutrients from that. And then I was eating a bunch of steak, and it wasn't grass-fed. So again, I wasn't getting nutrients. But basically the whole day then I would just drink a bunch of coffee to kill my appetite. And and then I wouldn't eat till the next day. But I would lose weight, but it wasn't sustainable, because what would happen after I got shredded and I lost all the weight is I would just go back to my shitty diet again and fall back down like the rabbit hole of processed foods and drinking alcohol. And it was just in that job in general that it wasn't a sustainable lifestyle. So what I started doing after that is I realized that maybe I need to change my job. And this is when I got into being a realtor. So I was like, okay, what can I do that actually allows me to be my own boss, make my own schedule, and, you know, have some more freedom? And I was like, I guess being a realtor, and really this came from my mom. My mom was like, you like to talk to people, like you like to bullshit people, is basically what she told me. And she's like, you should go be a realtor. Like I still at that point, I wasn't even thinking for myself. I was thinking or my mom was thinking for me. So at that point, I was still not thinking for myself. I think, what age was that I became a realtor? It's probably I did the bank job for maybe 3 years, and then after that, I was a realtor for 4 years. So yeah, and then, man, I should not have been a realtor because I don't give a fuck about houses. Like, I don't care about walking into a house. Ooh, look at this nice countertop. Oh, this house has an HOA. Like, it's so fake, like talking about cabinets, countertops, like who gives a fuck? And also, I was a realtor in Dallas, Texas, and all the houses there are these like modern cubes that just, they look like shit. They're soulless. They're soulless houses. And I had no passion for it. And what you find out is when you have no passion is it's hard to do the job when time gets tough. So I was a commissioned agent. I was only making money if I was getting out there working, making sales. And if you don't have that drive when you're a commissioned agent, then you're not going to make money. And again, I was still lifting at this time, but I fell into the same rabbit hole. And now when I fell down this depression hole after being a realtor for, I mean, 3 or 4 years, I think in the third year is when it really hit me, like, am I gonna have to do this for the rest of my fucking life? Like, call people who don't want to talk to me, show them a house I don't care about. I did like working with people and helping people, and I think that's why I make a good personal coach now. But I didn't care about the subject. I didn't care about houses. Like, I could care less about the house. But I think that I was still missing, like it was still in front of my face. Like fitness was still in front of my face. Like I would go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. And I talk about this all the time. Like you can see I have a Berkey water filter, which isn't a good water filter. You should get an AquaTrue. But I would get a Berkey, pour in pre-workout in that. So I was like pouring chemicals into purified water, which makes no sense. But it just shows you, we all have a holistic health journey, and we all have a health journey. But I still didn't care like about what I was doing, but fitness was right in front of my face. I was still working out. I loved working out. That was something that has been a constant in my life this whole time. And it never actually like dawned on me that I should go into fitness. And the one person who told me that I should chase my dreams, and I owe her everything for this, and it's my wife. She's like, dude, you obviously love fitness. And she's like, you have such a crazy lifestyle, like the way you eat, the way you're worried about things in your tap water. And it wasn't until one day we were in the supermarket and I just ate a whole egg. And my wife was like, what? Did you really just do that? I was like, yeah, you can just eat a whole egg. Like, we weren't married at the time, but she was like, we were just dating. She's like, did you really just eat that whole egg? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that's weird. And I was like, but she didn't judge me. What she said is, you need to put that on Instagram. Like, people are going to find that crazy. Like, you're going to stick out. And my God, she was right. I literally posted a reel of me doing that on Instagram. And I think within the first like 2 days, it had over like 2 million views. And, you know, like sometimes God has a weird way of showing you stuff. And I truly believe that. Like, I was like, okay, this means something. If God's putting it in front of my face that like, hey, you eat a raw egg, you're going to go viral, like something that I already do, then this is my calling. And I kind of just chased after that ever since. And while it has been hard, like it's hard going from a job, like at least in real estate, like there's kind of a game plan. And I had like a mentor in my brokerage that could show me like, you do X, Y, and Z and you'll be successful. Like you make this many calls, you talk to this many people, you knock on this many doors, you'll make this much a year. And if you sharpen your skills, you'll make even more. But with like content creation, man, you're just thrown into the fire. It's just you trying to figure out what the fuck to do. And it was hard at first. Like, man, there was times for like the first like few months, like we didn't know what to do. But with God willing, we were able to figure it all out. And it really just like expanded our lifestyle even more. And why it's a blessing, and it was a blessing in disguise, because in Dallas, I was holding on to things that weren't beneficial for me. Like you don't realize until you become your true self and express your true self, like how much other people are like holding you back. And the reason I say you should follow your dreams is because it doesn't matter what you do. Like the people who are going to support you are going to support you, and the ones that aren't are not going to support you. And a good example of this is one of my cousins. he would not use me as his realtor. He would rather use a reference from one of his bosses, and then his bosses just gave him to a newbie realtor anyways, that basically he didn't do any work. My cousin found the house himself on Zillow, and then the realtor just made a bunch of commission. And whereas my friends that worked with me, man, I would treat my friends good. I would pay out of my commission. I would pay for their movers. I would pay for an AquaTrue water filter under their sink. And it's just funny, even though I told my cousin, like, hey bro, I'll pay for your movers, I'll even give you a great closing gift, because most realtors will just give you like a cutting board and some flowers and maybe a roll of paper towels as your closing gift. But my friends, I'm gonna hook you up if you're using me, if you're my friend and you're trusting me with your purchase. But my cousin would rather use a stranger that did nothing, got him nothing in a closing gift. And it just goes to show you, like, people will not support you either way. So you might as well go after your full dream, because the people that are going to support you are going to support you. And this really makes me think of one of my other cousins. Like, one of my other cousins kind of went through the same thing. He was bouncing around these corporate jobs, and then he decided to make his own business. And now he has like 2 twins, and he's making his own money. He's making his own hours. Like, he started his own business with one of his best friends. And I'm just so supportive of that. And I love seeing that. And what's sad is that other cousin I was talking about, he even told that cousin who started his own business, like, I'm not going to use you for business. Like, I don't do business with family. Even though, again, he could give him a break on his give him a deal, basically. I don't want to give too much information away, but it really compares and contrasts the thinking, because one cousin was man enough to go start his own business and like create something for his future, and the other is just stuck in still that like corporate life, like not going after like his true passion. And so therefore he has an idea of scarcity in his mind, like no one can do better than him, or he can't help anyone out. And he doesn't want to do business with any family members, because God forbid you give family money, you should only give strangers money. But it shows 2 different people, like a growth person on one side who's like willing to go out there, put himself out there, start his own business, and now he's making a bunch more money and he's able to like spend more time with his kids, versus the other one where he's working a lot and his wife has to work still. And my cousin who started his own business, his wife gets to stay at home with the kids, versus my other cousin, they both have to work and their kid goes to daycare all day. So it just shows me that like chasing your dreams is always worth it. And the sooner you start the sooner that you start, the better, because you're going to come to this realization, I hope you do one day, and you better start sooner rather than later, because at least when you're young, bro, you can live with your parents, you don't have a wife, you don't have a girlfriend, so the time to take risk is right now. Like, I don't care what it is, what business you want to start, if you want to make a product, if you want to be an online fitness coach, if you want to be a realtor, like, go out and do it. Just make sure you love it and you have a passion for it, because that's what's going to drive you and that's what's going to take you through the hard times. And I really couldn't give you a better, I'm seeing how long this video is so I don't talk too much, but I really couldn't give you guys better advice on this, because I hope you can hear the passion in my voice. Like, it's so worth it just to go out and chase your dreams, because you will never be happy if you aren't doing something you love and you're working for someone else that's not going to care about you, and you're in a cubicle. And just remember, those people, if you have a cubicle job, they can replace you like that and they won't even think twice about it. And I was talking to my grandfather about this, and he had like 4 different jobs and they just kept replacing him. But yet still today he'll say, like, go get a steady government job and, you know, get a good job with a pension, even though pensions don't exist anymore. But, you know, it's just the mindset of people. They rather be safe than go after their dreams. But going after your dreams, I promise you, bro, is so much worth it in the end. But that's about all I had for you guys. I hope you got some value from that. If you guys have any questions or have any ideas for future stream of consciousness videos, leave it in the comments. If you guys do need some one-on-one coaching for fitness transformation or even mindset training, you can schedule a one-on-one consultation call in the description below. But I hope you guys go out and chase your dreams. And if you're not doing that, I hope you go out to the gym, go get a tan, go eat some beef. But if you are not going to do any of that, then YouTube thinks that you'll like this video the most next. Peace out, boys. I love you.